The brass key felt strangely warm in David's hand. For a long moment, none of the boys spoke. The old observatory was silent once more. Only the gentle tapping of rain against the round roof broke the stillness. Peter looked at the large key. "It feels alive." Miss Ashcombe smiled. "It has not slept for as long as people believe." The strange symbols carved around the shaft of the key began to glow with a soft green light. The air inside the observatory suddenly became colder. A faint mist drifted across the dusty floor. Simon glanced towards the doorway. Did anyone else see that? The mist slowly gathered together until it formed the outline of a woman. She wore the long black dress of a Victorian school headmistress. Her silver hair was neatly tied back. Around her neck hung an old brass key on a chain. Although she looked solid, the boys could see the telescope through her. Miss Blyton gave a respectful nod. "Headmistress Eleanor Blackwood," Miss Ashcombe nodded, "one of Haydn's earliest keepers." More mist appeared. One by one, other ghostly figures stepped quietly from the shadows. Old teachers, school gardeners, librarians, matrons. They had served Haydn across many generations. None spoke. Instead, they stood silently around the room as though protecting something very precious. Andrew swallowed. "They're watching us." "They always have," Miss Ashcombe replied softly. "They have guarded Haydn for longer than anyone can remember." The ghostly headmistress raised one transparent hand. The brass key in David's hand suddenly floated into the air. It turned slowly above the carved circle. Golden light spread across the stone floor. The 4 wooden symbols appeared once again. The raven, the oak leaf, the lantern, the key. As the symbols touched one another, tiny sparks of green fire danced around the room. Not ordinary fire, magic, ancient woodland magic. The scent of oak leaves, pine needles and wild herbs filled the observatory. Peter felt the hairs rise on the back of his neck. "The whole room is enchanted," Miss Ashcombe smiled. "It always has been." The ghostly teachers stepped backwards together. As they did, the shelves of old astronomy books began turning their pages by themselves. Dust rose into the air like tiny stars. One book finally stopped. Its pages opened without anyone touching it. Miss Blyton carefully walked over. Written across the yellowed page were just 6 words. "The lantern rests where shadows learn." Simon frowned. "What does that mean?" Before anyone could answer, another page slowly turned. A hand-drawn picture appeared. It showed Haydn, exactly as it had looked more than a century before. One building was circled in green ink. It stood beyond the school gardens, near the old woodland. Andrew recognized it immediately. "The old greenhouse," Peter nodded. "The one that's been locked for years." Miss Ashcombe looked thoughtful. "It was once used to grow rare medicinal plants." "Witches' herbs?" David asked. "A great many of them. Wormwood, mugwort, foxglove, yarrow, rowan, elder. Plants with long magical histories." As she spoke, the ghosts quietly faded into the mist once more. Only Headmistress Blackwood remained. She smiled kindly at the 4 boys. Then she pointed towards the observatory door. Without saying a single word, she vanished. The room became warm again. The brass key gently settled back into David's hands. "I think," Peter said quietly, "she wants us to go to the greenhouse." Miss Blyton closed the ancient book. "I believe you're right." Outside, the rain had almost stopped. Dark clouds drifted across the Sussex sky. Far above the school, 12 ravens circled the chapel tower before flying towards the woodland. Miss Ashcombe watched them disappear. The guardians know. They always know. The boys left the observatory and began walking across the damp playing fields. As they passed beneath the great cedar tree, Peter thought he saw someone standing among the branches. It was the little girl, Emily Fairchild. She smiled. Then, like morning mist, she simply faded away. Peter smiled back. Thank you. No one else had seen her. Or perhaps they had. No one mentioned it. Deep inside the woods, hidden beneath the ancient oaks, the hooded stranger slowly lowered a hand onto a moss-covered stone. A circle of strange symbols glowed faintly beneath the fingertips. A low whisper echoed through the trees. 3 are awakened, and the lantern remembers. Somewhere in the darkness, something else stirred. Something much older than Haydn itself.